The silence is finally over.
Exactly. The speculation is about to get very, very real because Combine Week is finally upon us.
Oh, man. It is the most wonderful, stressful, chaotic time of the year.
It really is.
The on-field workouts kick off this coming Thursday, February 26th, at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. And, usually the Combine is just this fun spectacle, right?
Right, guys in spandex.
Yeah, it's just men in spandex running in circles for television.
Yeah.
But this year, I don't know, this year feels heavy.
Heavy is the perfect word for it. It
Yeah.
feels heavy because the stakes just feel absolutely massive right now. I was reading through the source material for today, getting ready for our prep, the Big Blue Tea preview, and it perfectly captures this tight anxiety I'm feeling right in my chest.
Oh, I get it.
I walked into my kitchen this morning, right? Tried to make a simple cup of Earl Grey, and I swear to you, the steam came out of the kettle with 4.32 speed.
Okay, well, that is not tea. That is a slot receiver.
Exactly. The scouting reports have entered the house. I'm literally finding shoulder pads in my kitchen cabinets.
I love it.
But look, we aren't just here to, hype up fast 40 times today.
No.
We are doing a deep dive into the source material to perform what is essentially an emotional and tactical mission for the New York Giants as they head to Indy.
Yeah, we have to.
Because we're looking at a roster with holes that frankly look like the Grand Canyon. We've got a massive list of free agents, and we've got a brand new regime that needs to fix it all.
And that right there, that is the key context we have to start with. Because this isn't just another offseason.
No.
This is the very first NFL Combine of the John Harbaugh and Schoen era in New York.
Yes, it is.
And that changes the lens completely. We aren't just looking for players anymore. We're looking for a philosophy.
It's like the season premiere of a TV show where they fired all the old writers and finally brought in the guys who actually win awards.
Exactly.
And let's just get this out of the way right now. We love John Harbaugh.
Oh, absolutely love that.
We are all in on this culture shift. But we also have eyes, right?
Yeah.
We watched last season. We all watched it. We know this roster was basically held together by duct tape and good vibes.
And duct tape and vibes doesn't win you games in the NFC East.
No, it doesn't.
So let's set the scene for you listening at home. What is actually happening this week? Because fans, you see the workouts on TV, but the Big BT preview suggests the real game is being played in the hallways and the steakhouses.
Oh, I absolutely love the hallway politics. This is where those accidental conversations happen. Right?
Precisely, because for a new head coach like Harbaugh and a GM like Schoen, this week is really about information gathering.
Right.
You can't technically negotiate with free agents yet.
Yeah.
That's tampering. But if you just so happen to bump into a powerful agent while you're waiting for an elevator, well, you might just get a ballpark number on a guy.
The literal elevator pitch.
Exactly. And because this is a totally new leadership group, you as the fan need to be watching their podium sessions differently this year. You need to decode the language. The source material makes a really great distinction here. You are going to hear two very different dialects from our leadership.
Okay, break that down for me. What are we listening for when Harbaugh actually steps up to the mic?
So Harbaugh is the football guy.
Yeah.
He's the motivator. He is going to get up there and talk about culture, physicality, and playmakers.
Love it.
That is his brand. He wants guys who are going to bite kneecaps and just completely dominate the line of scrimmage. He's up there selling the vision.
Okay, so Harbaugh is the hype man.
Yep.
Then you have Schoen, the general manager. And let me guess, he's going to be the buzzkill.
I wouldn't say buzzkill. Let's call him the pragmatist.
Okay, pragmatist.
Schoen is going to sound like an accountant. He is going to talk about value, positional flexibility, and doing the math.
Right.
So when a fan hears Schoen say the word value, they should immediately interpret that as, we are probably not signing the most expensive guy on the market.
It's like reading a restaurant menu where everything sounds totally delicious, but you have to look at the waiter's face to know if the fish is actually fresh.
That's exactly it.
You have to read between the lines of what Schoen is saying to know if they're actually willing to open the checkbook.
And that leads us to the biggest stress point in the source material. And honestly, it's the thing keeping me up at night.
What's that?
The free agency dilemma.
Oh man, the Stay or Go game show?
It's terrifying.
Hey, we have 21 free agents. 21.
It's wild.
That is an entire village of people who technically do not work for the New York Giants anymore.
It is a massive roster turnover. And the Big Blue Tea analysis is completely blunt about this. You simply cannot re-sign everyone. It is mathematically impossible unless you are paying them in store credit and MetLife Stadium hot dogs.
Which, frankly, given the price of those hot dogs at MetLife, might actually be a fair deal.
It's a premium currency.
Seriously, though, we can't keep them all, so the strategy has to shift entirely. The source argues we really have two choices here: paying for comfort or paying for improvement.
This is the core philosophical debate of the offseason. Paying for comfort just means keeping the guys we know.
Familiar faces.
Right, it feels safe. But paying for improvement means having the guts to let those guys walk and bringing in new blood.
Yeah.
And the source suggests a very specific blueprint for how the Giants should actually handle this.
Lay it on me. What's the plan?
You use free agency to buy your floor, and you use the draft to buy your ceiling.
Wow, okay, I really love that concept. Let's unpack buying the floor.
So it means you use your available cash to sign veterans who are known commodities.
Right, plugging the leagues.
Exactly. Specifically, the source points to the interior offensive line and cornerback. You don't need superstars there necessarily. You need adults. You need guys who won't blow a blocking assignment because they've seen that exact stunt 1,000 times.
Yeah, you pay for a high floor so your offense can just function professionally.
Right.
That makes so much sense. You buy stability. You pay a guy to ensure the quarterback doesn't get hit right in the mouth on every single play.
Exactly.
And then the draft is where we take the big swings.
That's the idea. The draft is where you take risks on high upside playmakers, wide receivers, explosive linebackers. Because look, if you try to fill every hole with a rookie, you end up with a team that doesn't even know how to practice.
True.
But if you fill every hole with a veteran, you get old and expensive very fast. You have to balance it.
Which brings us to the person who needs this balance the most, the main character of this entire offseason.
Oh, yeah.
The man, the myth, the guy we are all actively praying for, Jaxson Dart.
The year 2 plan. This is the central narrative of the entire franchise right now.
We cannot send this kid out there for his second year with a paperclip and a dream.
We really can't.
We just can't. The source material is screaming about this. Last year, the offense felt like a Dart escape room.
That is a terrifying but incredibly accurate metaphor.
Solve this puzzle in 2.3 seconds or get sacked.
Yeah,
That isn't player development. That is pure survival mode.
it is.
So, looking at the preview, what does a legitimate year 2 plan actually look like? What are the tactical requirements to make Jaxson Dart's life easier?
It really comes down to 4 specific pillars.
Okay.
Separation, reliable hands, YAC, and protection.
Let's start with separation.
So last year, Dart had to throw into tight windows constantly.
Yeah, time.
And that requires perfect accuracy on every single dropback, which is just unsustainable for a young quarterback.
Right.
He needs receivers who can create space structurally through route running and burst so the throw is actually easy.
You want layups, basically.
Exactly. You want scheme open throws, then you need reliable hands. It sounds so basic, but draps kill drives and they absolutely destroy a young quarterback's confidence.
Oh, totally.
And finally, YAC, yards after catch. This is the quarterback's absolute best friend.
This is taking a basic 5-yard slant and turning it into a 50-yard touchdown.
Right. It pads the stats, sure, but more importantly, it takes the pressure off the quarterback to have to drive the field 10 perfect yards at a time.
Yeah.
If you have a playmaker who can do the dirty work for you, the whole game slows down.
So if that is our shopping list heading into the combine separation, hands, YAC, we need to look at the drills starting this Thursday, specifically the wide receivers and tight ends. And this is where I need you to guide me a little bit because I fall into the trap every single year.
The speed crap.
The speed trap. I admit it. I am part of the problem.
It happens to the best of us.
If I see a guy run a 4.29 in the 40-yard dash, I am mentally buying his jersey before he even crosses the finish line.
Yeah.
I don't care if he can catch. I just like the speed.
Look, speed is obviously a weapon.
Yeah.
We aren't going to sit here and say slow is good.
No.
But the Big Blue Tea sources emphasize that for the Giants' specific offensive scheme, straight line speed is actually overrated.
Really?
Yes, you need to look for burst and clean breaks.
Okay. Define clean breaks. For the listener who might just be watching the simulcast on TV, what does that actually look like on the field?
Watch the hips. That is the scout's secret.
The hips.
When a receiver is running full speed and needs to turn 90 degrees or stop for a curl route, watch how many steps it takes them.
Okay.
Do they have to chop their feet 10 times just to slow down? That's wasted time.
Right.
Or can they sink their hips and stop on an absolute dime?
Just freeze?
That ability to stop instantly while the defender's momentum keeps them running, that is what creates actual separation. That is a clean break.
So we are looking for suddenness. We want a guy who can stick his foot in the ground and just disappear.
Correct. You want a guy who can turn a simple slant into a crime scene because the defender is still running the wrong way.
Oh, I love that image. Absolute robbery in the secondary.
Yeah.
And then there is the tight end position. The source material is, well, it's harsh, but it's fair.
The quote is, if you drop passes, you aren't a tight end, you're a loose end.
Put that on a t-shirt immediately.
Seriously.
We cannot have loose ends. We desperately need a security blanket for Dart.
The tight end is the pressure release valve.
Yeah.
When the Blitz comes and the world is burning around him, the QB needs to know exactly where that guy is. The Giants need a chain mover, someone who can catch the ball in traffic, take a massive hit, and hold on.
Right.
So it's less about 40-yard dashes for them and more about the gauntlet drill.
Remind me, that's the one where they run across the field.
Yeah, they run across the field, catching balls rapidly from all different angles.
I love that drill. It's just pure chaos.
It is, and it totally exposes the body catchers. Watch who catches naturally with their hands away from their body versus who lets the ball hit their chest pads.
Right, because if it hits the chest, it bounces off their soul.
Exactly. If it hits the chest, it bounces. If it hits the hands, it sticks. We need hands catchers.
Body catchers are a massive red flag. Got it. Now let's move to the unsexy part of the combine.
The trenches.
The trenches. The big blue T calls the defensive front and interior offensive line the adults in the room.
And they are. Because you can have all the speed in the world on the outside, but if your interior line collapses, literally none of it matters.
Nope.
The Giants' interior offensive line was basically a turnstile last year. Big Blue just kept getting pushed around.
So when we are watching the big men do their drills, what are we actually looking for? Because they aren't out there running routes or catching passes.
You are looking for two things: anchor and power.
Okay.
In the drills where they hit the heavy bags or push the sleds, watch their base.
Their feet?
Right. Do they look like they are rooted to the ground? Do they have a wide, strong base? Or do they look top-heavy and kind of tippy?
I want a guard who blocks like he is defending the very last slice of pizza at a Super Bowl party.
Just fighting for his life.
Yeah, just pure greediness. Like, get your hands off my quarterback.
That is actually a perfect description of anchor.
Yeah.
It is the absolute refusal to be moved backwards. Yeah. And on the flip side, looking at the defense, we really need to talk about cornerbacks.
Yeah.
Because we need some dogs in the secondary.
My request for the cornerbacks we draft is so simple.
What's that?
Can they please turn their heads?
Yeah.
Just turn your head. I feel like I spent half of last season screaming turn around at my television.
We all did.
The ball is in the air, and our guy is just running face first into the receiver's back.
It's maddening. That is a technique issue, but it's also an instinct issue. At the combine, watch the drills where the DB has to flip his hips and locate the ball.
Ball tracking.
Exactly. It's called ball tracking. Some guys just panic when the ball is in the air. They grab the receiver because they lose track of the ball.
Right.
The elite guys, they find the ball and they essentially become the receiver.
Become the receiver. I like that a lot. We need guys who create actual turnovers, not just pass interference penalties.
Exactly.
And then we have the linebackers. The source makes a really interesting comparison to a GPS system.
Target acquired. Recalculating. A linebacker needs to diagnose the play instantly. In the combine drills, this really shows up in the change of direction tests.
Like the shuttle run.
Yeah, the short shuttle. How fast can they react to a stimulus and change path? But really, all of this goes back to the reload versus rebuild debate for the defense.
Right. Because the defense was very young last year.
Very young.
And the polite way to say it is that they had growing pains. The impolite way is that they got dragged like luggage all over the field.
And you cannot be luggage in the NFL. The run defense specifically was a major issue.
Huge.
And this brings us right back to Harbaugh and Schoen. This is where the podium interviews matter so much.
How so?
Does the new staff believe the run defense sucked because the players just weren't good enough? Or because the scheme was bad?
Oh, that is the million-dollar question.
It dictates everything.
If they think it was the players, we are going to see them draft really heavy on defensive tackles and linebackers. If they think it was the scheme, maybe they stand pat and use those picks elsewhere. That is a huge indicator for us fans to watch for.
Yep. And there's one more layer to this whole chess game of roster building that we haven't touched on yet, but it might honestly be the most critical piece.
Hit me.
The medicals, the injury checkpoints.
Ah, the invisible part of the combine.
Exactly. We sit here and talk about 40 times and bench presses. But the most important room in Indianapolis is the hospital room. where the team doctors actually examine these guys.
Right.
We have key players currently rehabbing. The team needs to know definitively, is this guy going to be ready for week 1?
Or are we looking at a PUP list situation?
Exactly.
Explain the PUP list implications for the listeners who might not know. Why does that completely change the draft strategy?
So PUP stands for physically unable to perform. If a player starts the season on the PUP list, they automatically miss the first chunk of games.
Right, they're out.
But more importantly, from a roster building perspective, if you know a starter is going to be out until October, you have to draft a replacement or sign a veteran to cover those 6 weeks.
You can't just leave the spot empty.
No, you can't. So if you don't know the medicals, you literally can't build the draft board.
It is like playing a game of chess, but 3 of your pawns are in a cast, and you don't know when the cast comes off.
That's a great way to put it.
You cannot plan your attack.
You can't. That is why the medical reports coming out of Indy are essentially currency for Schoen and the front office. Information is absolute power.
So bringing it all back to the big picture here.
Yeah.
We have the workouts starting this Thursday. We have press conferences. We have the rumors. And let's be honest, we have the stress.
Always the stress. It's just part of the fandom at this point.
It really is the Giants fan trauma response kicking in. But ultimately, this week is supposed to be about finding answers. Or, as the Big Blue Tea preview says, potentially finding 900 new questions.
That is definitely the most likely outcome.
We go in looking for clarity and leave wondering why we haven't hired a philosopher as an assistant coach.
Giants hire Socrates as assistant head coach of accountability.
Plato named passing game coordinator.
I can see the headlines now.
I really can too. But look, despite the trauma, despite the massive holes in the roster, there is genuine excitement right now.
There is.
It's a new era. We've got a new structure, a new process. We finally have adults in the building.
And we have to embrace that. We really have to embrace the process of rebuilding this thing properly, brick by brick.
Absolutely. So here is my challenge to you listening right now. As we head into this combine week, what is your number one priority?
Think about it.
When you turn on the TV on Thursday to watch the combine, are you staring at the wide receivers, just praying for separation?
Are you looking at the tight ends?
Right. Do you want a CB1 who can actually find the football in the air?
Or is your answer just all of the above with a side of please?
It is so likely all of the above, but you have to prioritize.
You do.
You can't fix everything in one single offseason. But if Harbaugh and Schoen nail the draft and spend wisely in free agency, this team looks very, very different in September.
It really does.
For me, it's playmakers. I want to see speed. I want to see guys who absolutely scare the defense.
You want to help Dart.
Yes. I want Jaxson Dart to have so many options he doesn't even know what to do with them.
That's the dream.
And speaking of speed, if you see me sprinting a 40-yard dash in my kitchen later while holding a stopwatch, mind your business.
Are you trying to improve your draft stock?
I am a late-round sleeper. You never know.
I don't know about that.
Look, I've got burst. I've got enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And I can make a decent cup of tea.
That counts for something in the locker room. Maybe a clubhouse attendant role.
Hey, I will take it if it gets me a Super Bowl ring.
Fair enough.
All right, buckle up, everyone. Combine week is here. Lucas Oil Stadium is officially open for business. The rumors are flying. Let's hope Harbaugh and Schoen find us some future stars.
We will be watching every single drill and decoding every single quote.
Peace, love, and grow. Big Billowy. Just wanted to say a massive thank you for tuning in to Big Blue Tea.
Absolutely. And, a huge shout out always to Black Freezy TV.
Oh,
For
definitely.
the fantastic programming, the production, everything that makes this possible.
Yep, their work behind the scenes is just really appreciated.
Yep.
This has been Big Blue Tea.